We begin in Thailand and that dramatic and heart-wrenching rescue mission underway in a cave system on the country's northern border. Now, the authorities warn the window of opportunity for extracting a team of young soccer players and their coach is rapidly closing.
เขาไม่เคยรู้จักแต่เขาเป็นหนึ่งในทีมเราเป็นหนึ่งในหมื่นกว่าคนที่เป็นทีมเรา
That's the mission commander at his latest media conference, now warning that low oxygen levels and the expected monsoon rain mean the rescue needs to happen within days. Meanwhile, amid the scramble, there are messages of hope. Handwritten notes from the boys delivered to their parents by the divers, telling the parents not to worry. Now, volunteers have been traveling to northern Thailand to help with the rescue operation, and that includes Rafael Arush. He's an Israeli man who has lived in Thailand for decades. He drove for 12 hours to reach Chiang Rai to help. We reached him earlier by phone to talk about the work that he is doing.
At the moment, I'm a diver and a translator. I couldn't get the chance to do any diving because most of the guys came here with teams. So I speak Thai fluently, so I do the translator for all the press, the different channels, and I do any work that need to be done. If you need to run power lines, I will run power line. I need to just carry stuff in the cave, I'll do, and like anybody here, yeah.
As you've been speaking to me, we've been showing images of you helping out with some of the Thai rescue operators. What drew you to this place? What made you say, I need to go there?
What made me go? Sitting down in front of the TV and seeing parents crying for their kids in the cave. I'm a parent myself, and so I brought my son with me, and I want my son to learn and what real life rescue operation is like, and be a part of it, and not waiting for the news at home. And all the people here likewise.
How old is your son?
My son is 23, just graduated from university, and yeah.
What has this experience been like, being there together, working on this?
It's overwhelming. It's really, really overwhelming. Anything that you do and see all the work that people are doing around here is really fulfilling, and it's really one. We wish you so from every tragedy something good happens. That's what I say.
Absolutely, that's what everyone is hoping for. Rafael, what is the latest you're hearing from those in charge of the rescue operation? How quickly do they anticipate they're going to start moving those boys out?
I think that they really keep us in the dark right now, and I'm sure they're working on so many different plans. People coming from all around the world. I'm getting plans from people sent to me from all around the world. And they're coming with so the decision makers are pressed against time. They're either to drill from the mountain, climbers coming from special cave climbers coming from the south of Thailand, and try to find some chimneys that they can go into the caves. And all efforts are made. The thing is, we are really, really, really pressed in time. And if any rain will come, heavy rain will come, it will flood kilometers of the cave, and that will be impossible to dive to the kids.
Now, these boys have spent 2 weeks underground in the dark. And at this moment, they're living off of high-protein liquid food delivered by those rescue operators. So what does this all mean for how the rescue operation will move forward? Well, for that, let's turn to CBC's medical contributor, Dr. Peter Lin, who joins us now in studio. Good morning, Dr. Lin. Let's talk about the boys who are in the cave and what you're seeing, because we've been showing you these images since Monday, since they were discovered. They're smiling, but they look thin and they look tired. So when you, as a doctor, see those faces, their bodies, what do you notice?
Yeah, they look like they're in great shape, but they're sitting around, remember that. And so what happens when you starve yourself, your body takes away and uses all the current nutrients. So let's say in the liver we have glycogen that breaks down into sugar. They would have used all of that stuff in the first couple of hours. Then they start to burn fat. And you saw these kids, they're not fat overall to begin with, so they've gone through their fat stores, and now they're starting to break down muscle. So they'll break down muscle to make sugar for for the body to function. So that's what they were doing for that first 10 days. Now we're refeeding them, but their muscles are still going to be weak. And so therefore, when they're sitting there and looking pretty in terms of not moving, it's great. But then now you add in that it's going to be a 5-hour trek for them to get out, and they have to be diving. I'm not sure if their muscles will last in terms of that. They might cramp up halfway through. They might panic during that time because they haven't had a mask on their face. These aren't, you know, seasoned divers. And so that's the concern that we have looking at those pictures. You also saw about 2 or 3 of the kids that really, they weren't moving a lot. They were just lying there. So you would think that if there's a camera, all the kids want to jump in front of it, and you see 2 or 3 of them that aren't doing that. So those 2 or 3 will not be able to make that trek. So therefore, they're going to be stuck there. And that's my concern, is that not all of them will have the strength to get out.
So obviously the physical strain of that experience, being in those caves for 2 weeks, what do you think, again, emotionally, psychologically, is that part of the concern? You mentioned the concern around panic.
Huge panic. I'm sure in the beginning they had lots of panic. They're actually quite calm right now, and that's because they're together. You can imagine if it was only one of them, it would be terrible. The parents are going through horrible things as well. So psychologically, this is a bit of a disaster. We're worried about post-traumatic stress disorder. This is where your brain says something bad happened in this situation. I'm going to remember this set of circumstances, and if those things pop back up, I'm going to, you know, sort of have that fear signal so that you can get out of danger. So in the future, when they get out, for example, in a closed environment like an elevator, they might start to have panic attacks, or in a dark room, they might have. So all of these things may come, and that's why they have to prepare for that once we get them safely above ground.
My goodness, so much you don't consider, because the focus really is on get them out, get them out. I want to show you an image that we've been showing over the course of the morning. If the control room can bring that up. This is an artistic illustration of how the rescue might operate. So what you're seeing in the front is potentially a Navy SEAL from the Thai rescue operation with the oxygen tank, and they are swimming through that cave passage with 2 of the boys tethered to that person, trying to get them out. Now, as you mentioned, this is a 5-hour trek from that 4-kilometer point where the boys are right now to the entrance of the cave, which will hopefully become the exit of the cave. We can drop that image now, and it's 5 hours for a fit, healthy Navy SEAL. What do you worry about when you see that as a possibility of the escape route? And
we saw the death of a Navy SEAL that was going in there to put in oxygen tanks, so you could see the problem. Now the tanks they're putting, so there may be rest stations they're talking about, they can take a break there, but you can imagine the Navy SEAL going in has to go 6 hours in, 5 hours back out, so it's an 11-hour trip for the Navy SEAL. For the boys, you notice that he's not pulling them. So basically they have to swim on their own, so therefore they have to kick. And so if their muscles cramp up in one of the kids, they have to stop. But in the cave, you can't surface, right? If you're up on the ocean, you can surface to the top, but in this case, there's no surfacing. So my concern also is that when they have to squeeze through a small space, the Navy SEAL has to take off his tank, and then he has to go first across. He's carrying the tank for the boys, then the boys have to follow through. So many things would have to go exactly right to get all of them out. So we might be able to get a few, and the concern, and I think that's why they're delaying. Can we pump out the water? Can we do these other things? Because that's the concern that they have, is that they might not make this work perfectly.
Dr. Lin, obviously neither you nor I are there at this moment, but you're watching closely and carefully. What do you think is the best path to get these boys out? And you've seen everybody jump in, you know, Elon Musk, everybody's giving suggestions. I think the drilling of the hole is a problem because monsoon will then flood that hole. But I think the best way is if they can float the kids out. In other words, drop the water level in the cave enough, but not make it dry, because what we need is water so you can float some of those 3 kids that don't look like they're moving too well, is the ability to drag some sort of a flotation device and pull them out that way. So the goal is to get rid of as much water as you need so that you have an airspace, and then you can float them out as opposed to having them swim out. And I wish we could do what they did in Beijing, which was they seeded the clouds to get rid of the rain for the Olympics. So if we can seed these monsoon clouds, I don't know if that's possible, and if we can hold off the rain, then that pressure of the next 2 days is off, and then that gives the pump some time to actually drop the level enough that they can float them out. And that would probably be the best way for all of the kids, because those 3 that I saw, they don't look like they're going to be able to swim out. So many variables in this, and of course, racing against the clock, racing against the weather and that rain that is coming.